Hi, this is Goatboy, and today we're going to talk about Thousand Suns. Magic. Thousand Suns. They're magicians. They're warp casters. They're the bad super magic users. That's the biggest thing they're known for. The army is designed to be a little bit hero hammery, and so that's kind of how you sit there and look at them. You have hard blocks mixed with a ton of psychic spells that go off. So that's the biggest important thing with them is that if you want to live and die by the psychic roll, that's how we're going to play with them. So probably the coolest unit or character I've seen in there. You could talk about how well the Scarab Occult Terminators have gotten much better. They're going to be a very important factor in this army. Objective secure, 3 wound. You can buff them up and be a very tough shooting platform for the army. From there, you look at the Exalted Sorcerers, a very important option, which then unlocks a no detachment cost sense Sorceress and Terminator armor. So I think those things, that kind of overall combo is going to be very important to the army, and that's what you're going to see most of the time. So how are these guys going to perform in the match play environment? They're going to be an interesting army. I don't know how much they're going to bust everything out. They do some things interestingly. I think they kind of go against AdMech pretty well because they have a lot of good, decent firepower to kind of chew through those 20-man squads with their extra AP on a lot of their bolters. I still think they're going to suffer some versus Dark Eldar because the speed of that army is being able to control a lot of the board will mean that any kind of deep striking or movement abilities that Thousand Suns have are going to be a lot harder. Scary enough, Sisters will be a problem because of the random 5-up chance to deny that a certain sisterhood will have. And so that's going to be where it'll be a kind of an odd matchup, and you're going to really have to set the army up to utilize its bolters and be much more tricksy in how you move around. The bigger combo I think in this army that they should look out for is you can buff a Terminator unit to be very, very hard to deal with. Between never taking morale, always being objective secured, being able to heal guys up as they go along, as well as -1 to hit, take 1 less damage and be tough. 4-up and rollable save. It's a tough unit, and it attacks really well. So you don't want to necessarily attack into it as well as it shoots you well. So that's where the bigger combos I see in here is that you're utilizing these Terminators, you're utilizing these kind of bricks of your army. You might throw Zangors up with a teleportation. I think one of the cults will have a teleport spell, which can be very powerful, and you can kind of lock people in. So that's where the combo kind of goes. You go against someone that has a lot of anti-psychic ability, then you have some problems. You got to fall back on it, and that's why I always go with just the Terminators. Bolters will do work all the time. So this army has changed a lot. Their rule of having a plus 6 inches to their cast has been removed. You can get that with their new rules of Kabbalistic rituals, which you can spend points that you have to be able to increase your range of a spell. Instead, now they get +1 to their casting, which is pretty good, especially when you want to try to chain extra spells, as well as ignoring morale tests, which is very powerful on these big blobs of Terminators or everything else that can ignore that. They lost the 20-man rubric squads, which is probably important because we're starting to learn that 20-man squads are a problem, especially when you can make them really tough. Their bolters kind of showed up more places, and some of the things have changed on it. The Magnus had a massive shift. I don't think he's nearly as good as he used to be. He is not Mortarion level, which is kind of frustrating, but it had to change based on what they needed for the time and kind of what the army needed to change into. Overall, I think it went in the right direction and became a little more consistent, as well as being able to do stuff beyond just being a detachment you add to get Armin and some other casters. Hey, click over here if you want to see something more about the Grey Knights.